Hi there, my ADV riding friends. Today we're going to talk about the new Alpine R60 or Reckless 60 from Mosko Moto. It is a very different system to the other Reckless systems that Mosko have, the Reckless 40 and 80, with all features you can imagine and the maximum modular system you could ever think about to just buy once and cry once. But this is the new Alpine R60. I just got it. It is pretty new at Mosko Moto. They have released it recently on their website. So after the Romania trip that me, Robert and Seymour did a few weeks ago, awesome trip on, I don't know, 21 or 22 days trip from Sweden to Romania, and off-road riding through Hungary and within the mountains in Romania. Wonderful trip. I had the Reckless 80 on my bike, and I had everything I could need on that trip. And I was just curious if this lighter pack system that has some of the components from the typical Mosko Reckless systems, but is totally different in other ways, aspects, and way more lightweight as well. I was curious if I could stuff all the things I had on the Romania trip into this system. So let us have a view what I have packed, and I could tell you if it's the same stuff I had on the trip or not, and how it fits, and maybe what's not, and also some features that could be interesting for you to see on this system compared to the Reckless 80 systems, or the other Reckless systems with the beaver tails and with the holsters and so on. But first, a small coffee. Cheers, my ADV riding friends. Oh, that was too hot. I have to let it sit a while. So let's take a look at the bags instead. Dress a little bit. That would be good. Oh, that's the 9-liter Ape Cat system. It's a harness typical backpack system. We could do a review on that later on. Oh, that was better. Oh, that was a better temp. Wonderful. Always good with the coffee. Right, so just let us walk through this system a little bit. It contains of 2 side bags, 22.5 liters, and we also have a top bag up here that is 15 liters. And they are mounted on a curb plate. It's some kind of composite plate, exactly like the Reckless 40 and 80, but it looks a little bit different. We could just walk through that as well. You also recognize how you fasten it with strap downs in the front or lower end, and you have straps, and you also have straps here in the rear end that you could fit to your rack or around your rear fender, or as I have done, mounted a knoblin. You also probably recognize some of the tie downs. You have a roll top bag instead of the dry bags that fits into the holsters that you have on the other Reckless systems that are not Alpine. You recognize these tie downs. You have one on the top over the roll, and you also could roll these together if you want, but you tie them typically down to each in the front and rear, but we could look into that. Other feature is, since it doesn't have the holster, it is that you have a very tough material in the bottom that probably could take some hits as good as the other Reckless system with holsters, but you know these are beasts to how much you can beat them up on trails. This is something that we still have to see on this system. You also have some reinforcement on the outside of this fabric here, where you typically also could hit stuff. As you also see, it's a little bit simplified. You do not have any molly system or any possibilities to have these aux pockets that you have for your extra stuff under here. So a little bit difference compared to that. I use a Perun rear rack that also, it's a large one on this 890, and this rack actually makes some room for other stuff behind this Reckless system, and that's great. You also recognize some stuff there. Mosko likes to have details. You have this carabiner mounted to the top bag, and that works to mount your helmet if you want to, or other stuff. It works like this. Just flip this metal buckle, and these buckles, and then you reach the roll top. You see how much material I still have here for the roll, and so I could still pass by the grocery store and stuff some more into this system if you have to restock some food for the evenings or whatever. I could show you a little trick in this moment. As you know, for these roll tops and the typical dry bags of the Reckless systems that we already have, the R80, some wants to have a valve on the bag to release pressure or to be able to compress this, but you don't really need that. You see, if you take all the excess of the top and just push it down and then roll it like this, you will not have any of this air inside that you need to have another valve or something to release this pressure inside the bag to compress it. If you do like this on the dry bags, on the Reckless 80, 40, or this, it works the same on this R60. On this side I have my sleeping system, except for the sleeping bag, because that is on top together with my stove, but we could look into that. And this bag have a inner bag, kind of dry bag, but it's a liner. It's more of a liner, and you also see how this material looks on the inside to keep it waterproof. And this bag is also waterproof, so 2 layers. You could pull this out and it looks like a huge sock. We could look at that when I emptied. I have a tarp. This is from Amok Equipment, Skjold 13. It's a larger tarp than they had before. I also have my sleeping mattress, ultralight from Amok Equipment, and I have my hammock. And this together with the tarp pretty much is the same size that I have on my 1P tent from Hilleberg, for example, if I choose the tent instead. So the packing volume is very, very similar. So this is actually what I have on this side, and you saw how much excess I have. The bag is really roomy on top here, and then it's got a little bit more narrow on this line, and then it grows again with a large volume down here. So it's very easy to pack a sleeping system or a lot of stuff, to pack it together in the bottom like that. It's actually a little bit easier to pack than the dry bags of the Reckless 80, and definitely easier than on the dry bags on the Reckless 40. So that is good to know. Very light and nice material. Just have a closer look how it looks. This fabric. You see the seams. And here we have that tougher material. More rubbery. Definitely be able to take some hits, branches. You could also see that these bags are fastened on this curb with some kind of buckles that goes through, but it's not intended to take it off from the system like you do with the dry bags on the R80 system. It's definitely not made for that. So this should stay on the bike, or you just lift off the complete system with the curb. And that's very easy if you have the knobbling and the front straps. It's fast operation. So this is fastened with a Velcro. So this is how thin this inner liner is. You can see through it, you see, very thin, waterproof, and this is the inner part of the side bags. Very glossy, probably part of the waterproof system. So we could just pull that out so you can see it. And there is Velcro in the bottom, the bag as well. Then you see, this looks like, I don't know if you see it, looks like a huge sock. But it's really awesome actually. So you actually could bring this out from this bag if you need to bring all the stuff. But it does not have a closure on top like the dry bags of the Reckless 80 system, for example. Let's see what I have in my top bag, 15 liter. Just open it like that, very easy. This has the same kind of liner as the side bags. It's a very large opening actually to be 15 liter. I have my stove, and I also have more parts to the stove, a small fry pan and some stuff to eat with. I have my sleeping bag. So this is what I had on the top. And on the Reckless 80 I had my sleeping bag and my shoes. Also I had a water purification, a water filter. And this bag is actually larger than I thought it was. 15 liters is actually good here on top. You also saw that I have room for some small stuff to be put in there as well. And just to be clear, this is a winter sleeping bag. It's a down sleeping bag, but it is good for like down to -10 comfort. And if you ride in Scandinavia, even summertime, and if you go for the Trans-Euro Trail Norway, for example, definitely bring a winter sleeping bag with you if you want to stay at the heights and sleep there outdoors in your tent or hammock. It was the same thing in the Romanian mountains as well. I'm really happy that I brought this winter sleeping bag. We could sleep there at 1500 meters height, and it actually got a little bit cold at nights. I didn't sleep in the bag, but I use it as a blanket. And if you're even colder, you just crawl into it. So that's perfect with a really good sleeping bag all year round in this kind of situation. So let's see what we have on this left side. You just flip this metal buckle like that to open it. Before it was plastic buckles on the Reckless 1840. I think it's good that it updated it with metal buckles. As you see, I have a lot of excess on this side as well. So I could still put some more in here temporarily if I go to a grocery store or whatever, or if I have forgot something here that I think I need on a trip. Bags are very easy to pack, very roomy inside, as I told you. Some cooking stuff with a little cooking device. So everything fits really nice, and I still have plenty of room into this bag. I have to just roll it all the way down, see? So this is the one that you could bring. You know, that's why I have the blue dry bag or dry sack with the clothes, because I just open the bag and bring that blue bag with my clothes. Very handy. So you figure out how to pack. I usually pack in one kind of system when I leave, and then after a few days on the trip I reorganize a little bit depending on the trip and how I like to have my stuff. If I'm camping, or if I go like more on a bed and breakfast like we did in Romania pretty much, except for me camping at the dusty Lizard in my hammock. So you figure it out how you would like to pack, but this is the one that is easiest to bring. Okay, on the Velcro, just strap it, and when you just need to open and have it, you just open that one and that one, so very easy to reach it. Then you have these ones that should be crosswise over this bag. Just release it a little bit. The other side is here. I'll just show you how it works. You see these are crosswise into the seams on each side. It's pretty clever. And you see these roll-up systems of the straps. It's the same as you see on the Reckless 1480 to organize your straps and have them tidied up. And this, you can just strap it a little bit harder if you want to. Right, we could go into some more specs here. This Alpine R60 system weighs in on 3.7 kilos with total, with the curb and the straps and everything, in 60 liters configuration. Compare that to my 80 liter system, the Reckless 80, with the 80 liter configuration. It weighs in on almost 7 kilos, 6.8. That's not much actually for such a capable system. And the Reckless 40 in 58 liter configuration with the Stinger 22 top bag, it weighs in on, I think it's 5.5 kilo. You could correct me if I'm wrong there. So less than 4 kilos for a packing system like this. Is light right? That's the next question. Light is right. We like that slogan from another company. Yes, I think so. I want to have as low weight as possible with what I could have in my kind of configuration. On the other half of this, as we beat up our gear on the Romania tracks with like 15-16 days of off-road that is much tougher than we often see up here in Scandinavia, because we're not allowed to ride in the terrain or on top of mountains and this kind of tougher trail, so to speak, because your suspension constantly works. And on the gravel roads here in Sweden, the farmers and foresters have an obsession to straighten out everything and make the gravel roads really perfect. So of course we have some off-road here as well, no doubt about that, but we are not allowed to ride up in our mountainous areas either, because it's only for hiking and so on, national parks. That was a little bit of derailing, but just to get you a picture of how much the packing, the gear actually need to take. And that's my concern with the lightweight system. But it feels with this curb and with these rigid straps and everything that you have the same as on the Reckless 80 and 40 system. The only thing that you lack is actually the extra protection from the holsters that I know are really crash proof with the heavy bikes like this. You go into trees, branches. I was down I think at least 3 times during that trip. I also just tipped the bike over to help a friend to lift his bike. You just tip it on your luggage and so on. I actually expect this one to be really tough, but time will tell. Another thing is that it feels really tight on the bike. This will not flap around, no whatever. I do not need that heat shield, and that is also included in the packing, the heat shield that I have on the muffler. I already have it, so I didn't need to mount it, but I don't really need it actually. I don't really need it for the Reckless 80 either, because it goes around it so nicely, and this goes far on top of it. But this system doesn't flap around at all. It actually looks really good on the bike. Maybe I should opt for the black one because that looks really nice with the rest of this bike, but I think the green is cool. I will try it out and I will get back to you later what I think about it. And if you go on a trip with the guys and have some booze in the cabin or something, you just go with the complete system, and yeah, you don't have to pack it up that much, you know. Just compress it, and then you have the very sturdy top bag that you could strap directly on your rear rack. And the 15 liter is actually really good for that. It's a good size compared to the 22 liter Stinger. So I think I will like this system. I will have it on my bike and try it and test it on my kind of rides. As you see, I could pack everything I need. What I didn't pack was my shoes. Maybe you noticed that because I was actually packed up the bike to go for a trip to meet a friend and camp tonight, but he had to move home faster. So I will head home with a wine bottle to my wife instead. Lucky her and me. It will fit my purposes really, really well, and I think it do a Romania trip really good because it doesn't move. Okay, I can't have molly system, I can't modulate it as much regarding that, but I packed everything that I know that I need on a trip like that, and I have still volume to pick some more in there if I need to. My water filter, for example, and shoes. My saw I could easily fit on top as well. The shoes could be put under the top bag. If you look at the Mosko videos, you can see, I think it's Pete that does that in his instruction. That looked really good to do that, actually. Under the bag or on top of it, if you want to. Or you could fit it in the side bags with that much volume that I still had. So, yeah, light could be really right. But the Reckless 80 is a beast in how much it could take. So depends what kind of trip you are on and the volume. I could also show you a little bit of a video of the Reckless 80. I have the version 4 now. I had the version 3 earlier, so I have had 5 seasons, 5 years with the Reckless 80 system. And I can show you some tips and tricks about that as well if you want to in a separate video. Next coming up here is, it's Saturday today. I don't know if I have released this video today, but tomorrow and Sunday. Robert will release the 2-hour-long Romania video, our video from the trip, or his take on our trip. And we had a little sneak peek yesterday, me, Seymour, and Robert with friends. What an awesome video. You need to watch it. You need to watch it from that trip. I have tons of material myself, video from that trip, and I will release it later this fall or something like that. It's tons of material. I'm not really as effective as Robert are. Next videos from me, maybe some tire review from the trip on my Dunlops. Probably I will have some comparison how a Ape Cat and harness system is compared to the backpack. What I think about that, I need to ride with it a little bit more to know that. So far so good. And yeah, probably some other fun videos upcoming as well, of course. I just released a robot lawn mover video, not of your interest probably, but it's a real ADV enabler. So that could be good to see how a boundary wireless system works. Okay, but see you on the next one. Ciao. And don't forget the small coffees out there.